Hey everybody. Okay, here's number 3 of the reviews, articles about different trop rock musicians that I have interviewed. If you've been following along before, you know that I'm over 90 now, since 2011. Brent Burns was my very first. Recently featured Rob Mel, and today it's Jimmy and the Parrots. So I don't have a Jimmy and the Parrots album. Can you believe that, physically, that I can show you? But I've got some of his music going in the background, so I hope that you can hear that. I believe it's Volunteers playing right now. So anyway, let me go to the little article that I wrote about him several years ago, and it was called Energy Boost. Jimmy and the Parrots. And if you've seen Jimmy and the Parrots, you know that they are such high energy. I've never seen a band run back and forth across the stage like they do. And this was back in 2011. So his other than his son Jimmy Jr., James or Jimmy Maraventano, and it took me a while to learn how to say that, Jimmy Maraventano. He had a different band. So anyway, but it's been they're all very talented. The band that I met in 2011 is different, but they're all great guys, and they all put on a wonderful show. So this is what I wrote about Jimmy and the Parrots a couple of years ago. Now remember, I wrote this a long time ago. I didn't realize a couple of things. I was interviewing musicians who were playing at the 2011 Shark Stock event in Grapevine, Texas, hosted by the Lone Star Parody Club. Well, I didn't realize when I met and talked with Jimmy and the Parrots that it was a real treat to have this Northeast band in Texas. I also had no idea of the energy of this group. I learned that the band was started by Jimmy Maraventano, and I learned how to say that with an Italian accent, Maraventano. And at the time, the band included his son, Jimmy Maraventano Jr., Lance Highland Stark, and Hal B. Seltzer. And Jimmy Sr. told me that he got his son a guitar when he was a young teen, and he wanted to spend time playing music with him. So, well, he certainly got that wish. That's why they started the band. Jimmy and the Parrots may reside in the Northeast, but they play across the nation, as they are one of the most requested Jimmy Buffett cover bands around. Jimmy M. met Jimmy B. when he was recording Fruitcakes back in the late 1990s and said Bubba was unbelievably gracious. Jimmy M. Began to get really into Buffett's music after that, and he had no idea of the Parrothead following and devotion. He gathered up top-notch musicians, including his son, and began the cover band. An aptly named original song of Jimmy Maraventano's is We Owe It All to Buffett. Back on that Saturday in 2011, I was doing interviews outside the venue, however, while sitting on a curb, and missed the actual Jimmy and Parrot show because I was talking to people and writing things down. Since then, however, I've seen him several times, and their performing energy is amazing. Who else choreographs running and traversing across the stage, in addition to their fabulous instrumentals and vocals? It's no wonder they were named Entertainer of the Year in 2012 for the Trop Rock Music Awards. I can only imagine how much fun that their fans had during the Yaman tour in Jamaica and the Yaman cruise. They have 2 CDs of original songs and a 3 CD set called Island Jams, which has sold over 80,000 copies. They are now staples as music acts at Meeting the Minds, and the next time you see them listed on a music lineup, don't miss them. The energy is contagious. So that's what I wrote a long time ago. Here are some pictures, and I'm going to do this weird thing again. When I'm videoing, I can't turn my little thing around. But anyway, I got to know Jimmy a little bit better in 2015 when we went on a cruise to the BVI's with Jerry Diaz and Jimmy Maraventano. And so I'm showing you a couple of pictures from that. Let's see if I can get this up here. This is not the best light. It's dark, but it's they were in the middle of a song, and I went to go take a picture from the back, and he just stopped and posed with me. He gave me a big hug. And then, let's see. All right. This was Jimmy and the great late Bobby Summers playing at the Soggy Dollar on Jost Van Dyke during that cruise. And then we also have, one of the very first times I heard Jimmy was at for the whole show was at the 2015 Party Gras. And back when there was still the Margaritaville in New Orleans, that he put on a great show. This is actually Kelly Brown and Randy Brooks singing with him. But what was so great about Jimmy, and still is that he'll let almost anybody up on stage. He just wants to have a good time, and he's a sweetheart. The last time I got to really visit with him a little bit was last year, and we were traveling and had just gotten into town for the it was on April 23rd, and for one of Buffett's early shows in his tour last year. This was in Orange Beach, Alabama, and Jimmy and also Rick Lamb were playing in the parking lot area before the actual concert. And this is not a good picture because it was just a real quick little selfie, but this shows you how great he is. It's fuzzy, but I was taking a couple of pictures of him, and I tapped him on the shoulder, and he posed before he realized that he knew me, and then he gave me a huge hug. Here's this picture. Can you see? Anyway, Jimmy Maraventano, Jimmy and the Parrots, great guys, great shows, fun people, sweet people. So that's Jimmy Maraventano, Jimmy and the Parrots, and next up, I think it's going to be Dennis Davis, one of our Texas artists. So we will see you soon.